Hi, I'm Wendy Perkins. This is my final reflection video on the habits of mind. All right, so to start with, a couple things on the reread of the article stuck out at me. The first of all is, well, they're really both on the very first page. The first is what the habits of mind really are. What do they attend to? Value, inclination, sensitivity, capability, and commitment. And I think that those kind of qualities were not necessarily in my mind all the time when I was attempting to when I was really trying to use my strategies to work on my habits of mind. I think that those parts of focus got lost a little bit in translation, so to speak. And the other part that really stood out was what behaviors are indicative of an efficient and effective problem solver. And which kind of brought it all home that really all these habits of mind are truly about problem solving. They're about kind of identifying what we see going on around us and finding a way to rectify the situation is one way to put it. This, habits of mind is, reminds me of something from my youth. It was a book that came out. It was like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this is kind of like where it goes with us. So, that being said, the habits of mind that I was working on, the ones that first of all, the ones I felt I'd mastered, there were a couple I don't think I've quite mastered. And it was a little more challenging to work on some of the ones I wanted to work on than others. So let me start with, I think I had put that I had mastered metacognition. I most certainly have not. It's challenging to really think about how you think about something and come to terms with how you got from point A to point B. At each assignment, when I had to write about, what habits of mine or how did the habits of mine that I'm working on affect or play into that particular assignment, how did I use them? It was very challenging. It was really difficult to kind of think like, well, really kind of try to analyze and dissect my own thinking process in each one. Now, I went into each assignment kind of, before I would start it, I would read over the habits of mind that I wanted to work on, which were striving for accuracy, thinking, communicating with clarity and precision, being open to continuous learning, taking responsible risks, and responding with wonderment and awe. Responding with wonderment and awe is the one that I absolutely fell super, super short on. I guess I'm just a tad bit cynical. Nothing really, except for one particular assignment regarding how the amount of words that we're spoken to, the very young children are spoken to, and the volume and the tone and how that really does affect them and their literacy and cognitive skills later in life. That was the one that really blew me away. But otherwise, while interesting, and I feel I have remained open to continuous learning, and I don't know that that's something that you ever master. I think that you always are struggling to remain open to continuous learning because really we are the sum of our experiences, and our experiences clouds our thoughts a little bit and causes us to be, prejudge and kind of have a notion of where something's going. Now, that serves us really well in most situations, but it can be a hindrance, and it's why we have to stay cognizant of saying that, yes, I need to be open to the information coming at me. I don't know everything about this subject, or um, or whatever the case may be. So that definitely is one that I don't think any of us ever really master. The other is, let's see. So now, taking responsible risks, I think I did more of in the semester. I definitely didn't master it, but I definitely did more of. Not really, unfortunately, not because I could force myself to do it, but really because I had no choice. The time was so short, I didn't have time to kind of obsess and detail myself to death about assignments and where they were going. And there were certain things where, my family has a priority in my life, and I have a job and the house to run. So there's only X amount of hours in every day, and there's only so much I can do. So at a certain point, there were times I had to say, okay, well, this is what I have now, and so this is what I'm turning in. And while I could have looked at it 25 more times and said, no, it needs more, it needs this, it needs that. I just had to say, like, well, I'm going to have to risk it and hope that it works out. So there was that. Striving for accuracy and precision. That's really, it's a very easy thing to accomplish when you're dealing with math or science. And when you're talking about truly fact-based, I found a lot of the information, especially in this course, while fact-based and a lot of it research-based, a little subject to perspective, a little, I didn't agree with certain points. So while I had to understand them and repeat them with accuracy and make sure that I got the information right, I didn't, some of it I found just not questionable in origin, just different than my experience. And finally, the thinking and communicating with precision and clarity. Man, I worked very hard on that, and I know I'm still exceedingly long-winded at times. Can be hyper detailed on assignments or write too long, and maybe sometimes too short. I don't know that I have found my happy medium ground where it's truly just writing not just my thoughts and perceptions and feelings, my understanding of the material, but really giving an accurate portrayal of it to suit the person who's, the professor or person who's requesting the information from me. So I find that when that particular habit of mind, I was looking at it as not just for my own thinking and communicating clearly. I wanted to make sure did I feel it was going to be received clearly. So let's see. And the other one I think I fell a little short on that I thought I had mastered was thinking flexibly. Gosh, I just feel like there were a couple times I just froze up on stuff, just looked at it and went, what? I just, this is new. There's no, nothing in my head turned in the way that I wanted it to, and no ideas I turned out came out in a way that I found acceptable or productive. So there were some things that, had to go to bed and mull them over and think about it and redo it because it just didn't seem exactly how it was supposed to be. So that's one where I thought I'd mastered it, but I think maybe not. And that may have to do with my age. I think that, or it may just have to do with being human, that at a certain point we look at life and we've done certain things so many times and some information we've had so many times that it's very hard to take in something new and really get something new from it. And what I found from this experience of using the habits of mind all the time and talking about how I've used them was one of the reasons I recognize that I most certainly have not mastered metacognition. The fact that it kind of threw me off a little bit, made me question certain things. Did I do this? Did I prep it right? It almost caused more work than the actual assignment at times. That has really been a good course in trying to understand my own thought process, my own work habits, my own time management skills. I think that it is definitely going to be productive for me in the future to maintain this article and to continue to work on the habits that I had picked initially, and to continue to kind of look at the beginning and end of my assignments is, what skills did I employ here? What problem solving strategies did I use? Especially if it worked out successfully and I'm happy with my work. I mean, that's really where it comes in when you've done something right and it's really well done and you're proud of it. You want to know what you did well so that you can repeat it. You don't want to go back and go like, ooh, I'm not sure. So that is what I've gotten out of using the habits of mind during this semester. If it had been not, I would have liked to do it more in the 16-week semester where I could have stretched it out and I didn't feel everything was so kind of mushed on top of each other, where I could play with it a little more. I did use it for another class kind of similarly, but it wasn't as incorporated into every assignment as it more or less was in this class. So it really kept it in the forefront of my mind to constantly go over, like, where am I with the habits of mind, and did I use it? Did I make sure I read over this is my little highlighted and marked up sheet that I've used for every assignment for this semester. So that's all. Thank you. It's been an excellent exercise in discovering my own thought process, and it's definitely been eye-opening in many ways. So anyway, that is all. Thanks. Bye.